it needs to be said that this game is pre-alpha. Like, dude, calm down. Calm down, bro. They literally said nothing's off the table. What they're trying to do is put a little bit of that killer instinct into the Invincible fighting game. It's really hard to find that right balance. They like to see top players doing things that they can't do. That is definitely an aspect of watching competitive play. There's still so much more for this game to go through. Don't take anything that's written in these articles, treat it as gospel, determine whether you're gonna buy this game or not. Jesus, like, things are not always gonna be catered for you individually. Different people are gonna talk about different things, and sometimes... Hello everybody, welcome to It Was Tuesday. I am James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor, the host. Invincible Versus is a new fighting game that has been announced, being created by a large chunk of the team that created the original Killer Instinct remake. They were originally Double Helix, and after the first season, then it was moved over to Iron Galaxy, and they took over from that point forward. While obviously a surprise to a lot of people, I can actually finally talk about the fact that I have had a chance to already play the game. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about this. I see a lot of people like making just so many assumptions being thrown around. I don't even want to talk about like half the mechanics in the game, because it needs to be said that this game is pre-alpha. When they asked for our feedback and we started like trying to give them a lot of feedback on a lot of stuff, they literally said nothing's off the table. So it's come out already that, you know, the game is a single button special moves, just like 2X KO, like Battle for the Grid for Power Rangers. I asked them, I was like, hey, would you guys be against turning the game into motions? And they're like, no. Everything is on the table, basically, right? So it's single inputs right now, but lots of things can change, man. So like all these people already being like, oh my God, I'm not gonna play this game because blah. Like, dude, calm down. It has a lot of Marvel in its DNA. So if that's the case, it'll probably be more of a heart and body game. And to be fair, the execution in the game isn't like super crazy, right? Marvel definitely has just like, you know, you gotta learn to tiger knee your DPs and like all this crazy stuff in there. I wouldn't say it's necessarily an extreme body type game, especially because a lot of the special moves are single inputs right now. So the execution in there isn't particularly strong. And also keep in mind that the 2 times that I've played the game, the build has been extremely different. Extremely different, right? Because the first time I played it, was it a body game? Not really, because everything was really loopable, right? So you could just do the same sequence like 5 times in a row kind of thing. And then the next time I played it, it was absolutely not like that, right? So if I tried to do any sequence that was repeated, the combo would just end almost instantaneously. A lot of people have read that there is a combo meter system that it fills up as you do damage, and once it fills up, the opponent falls out of the combo. And people are like, that's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, again, these are the same guys that made the original Killer Instinct, right? If you remember, there was a combo meter in the original Killer Instinct as well. So, this is one of the things that I really want to talk about this game and what they are trying to do to differentiate it from a lot of other tag fighting games, right? A lot of tag fighting games are just like, okay, craziness, you know, craziness kind of thing. But what they're trying to do is put a little bit of that killer instinct into the Invincible fighting game, right? You had the braking system. So, you know, if it was a heavy, you could break it with a medium. If it was a medium, you could use the light breaker. If it was a light, you could do the heavy breaker. Or if it was the other way around, I can't remember. But the game was about this kind of mind game as you're getting comboed. What they're doing in this game is they're doing something very, very similarly, but they're using the tag system to facilitate this. Basically, there is a lot of mechanics that are put into this game designed for this little bit of mind game as you're doing the combo. There's a lot of ways to manipulate the combo meter. So it does prevent infinites, but again, the way that it works, and even in one of the articles said that if you do a combo with the character, tagging into the other character kind of resets the combo gauge, right? If it's filling up and it's almost full and the next hit you're using is gonna blow your combo, you can tag the other guy in there and then it will drop down a little bit and the character can continue the combo a little bit longer. Every fighting game is gonna have damage scaling, right? There is also a mechanic in the game that while you are being comboed, if you press certain buttons and they call their tag, you blow that tag up, like you hit the tag and they go back out and you end the combo. So in other words, if the opponent is comboing you in an obvious route and they are about to run out of combo meter and you know they're gonna switch to their character, you can call that out by using the mechanic that as soon as you activate it, if they switch, you actually just blow them up. You get out of the combo for that. And it's basically a combo breaker. It's like the KI combo breaker system in this game. Also, if your assist is available, you can pretty much always call them in for a combo breaker, like a burst mechanic, right? So as soon as I hit you, you can just call your assist, burst, and you knock them away. As long as you can stall long enough and the cooldown on your assist comes back up, you can do it again. And you have 2 assists. So like the first 2 combos you get hit by, you can be like burst, right? And then the second one burst. But again, you can't call your assist, so it's managing that kind of system over there. Now, here's the cool thing about that, though, is that if you think your opponent is going to burst, you can actually activate a super, and supers are invincible to the bursts. And so like if you hit somebody and you know they burst right away, you just make your character do their super and they come in and now you hit both characters and you have a happy birthday and you get to beat them both up. They're trying to implement a lot of that killer instinct. You know, while you're getting comboed, you're not done playing the game. You're still playing mind games during that whole entire sequence. And I think that's really cool. In my opinion, a problem fighting games have is guaranteed long combos. Tekken is bad for that. Tekken 8 in particular, right? So Tekken 8, because of the heat system, it's more egregious than ever. Before they had the bounds or the spirals and like little extra things that keep the combos going. It's never really been about super long combos, but you know, between tag 6, tag 7, and 8, it just keeps getting more and more. Oh, the blood, yeah. So this game is not for the faint of heart. This game is very violent. I have never watched Invincible, right? So I cannot tell you how violent the cartoon or the comics are, but I have heard that they are very violent. And so the game is following suit. There is a lot of very gruesome things. And when characters lose, especially if you happen to hit them with a super or special moves, like they will explode. Like you can punch someone's head and it will just explode and the character is done. Do you think it might appeal to MK players? Given how they reacted to MK1, I don't know. Because a lot of the Mortal Kombat players didn't like MK1 because they didn't like assists. So I'm not sure. It's just one of those. It's like, oh, we're going to do superheroes, but everything's ultra violent. Yeah. But again, look, the game is super early. It is very violent. And so that is something that you're going to have to contend with if you are not a fan of violence. But also, like, if you're just a fan of Invincible, you're already past that, what it sounds like. If you're just a person that's like, oh, this looks really interesting with the tag mechanics and I want to play it, obviously then if you're against the violence, it's going to be difficult, right? And again, you don't have to play it, right? Like, it's just one of those things. People are going to ask me, James, did you think it was fun? How did you like it? Blah, blah, blah. So I have to preface anything that I say about the way that this game plays with, I suck at tag games. I'm really, really, really bad at tag games, okay? Like, when I first started messing with it, like, I was basically playing one-on-one fighter. And then I fought someone who actually plays tag fighters, and I would block things, and then the tag fighter would come and lock me down, and then he would keep attacking me, and I was like, oh shit, that's right, you can do that, right? So like, I'm just extraordinarily bad at tag fighters. So I was probably not playing the game right at all, and I was probably not doing everything that I wanted to. But what I'm gonna say about the game is it felt like a pre-alpha game. It literally felt like a pre-alpha game. There was a lot of things in there that I was like, should that be happening? And they're like, oh yeah, this character's not done yet, right? Like, there was a character that had a super that was like a command throw, and it hit me on block, right? It grabs on block. And they were like, yeah, that's not supposed to happen. You know, like, so like, it was clearly very early on. And so like, everybody's sitting here and taking what these people are saying in all these articles and all this stuff, you know, it's just like time to get good at tag fighters, right? But again, like, people coming to conclusions based off of what they're reading from articles about people who have actually played this, like, I just want to establish very early on that a lot still is left to change, right? I can tell you right now that I personally think that there's too many buttons for the game, right? And, you know, I was talking about that whole thing with, you know, I don't like single button special moves because it forces too many buttons. And this game was definitely on my mind in that situation. But, you know, the crazy thing is, like, a lot of people have been talking with them, like, how can we reduce the number of buttons? And they're like, yeah, we're thinking about that all the time. You know, again, like, all this stuff is in flux, right? So, like, don't just go and, like, read these articles and see what they say and just be like, yo, it's this, forget it. I was day one buy now. I will never touch this game. And it's just like, give these guys a chance, man. The game that I played was pre-alpha. Hunter x Hunter was in beta, right? Beta's already 2 giant milestones. If you know anything about software development, the difference between alpha and beta are like huge milestones, right? It's not just like, we're in alpha, we're in beta. Like, you have to qualify so many things to even be allowed for your company to declare beta, right? Like, you take all these tests and everything like that, and it's like, did it pass everything? Well, it's like, if it doesn't pass, like, you know, 80%, then it can't be beta. Like, alpha and beta are huge deals here. And again, this game is in pre-alpha. So if you know anything about software development, that means it is super early still in the game. Now, again, I have no stake in this, right? They're not paying me to say any of this kind of stuff like this. I'm just telling you, as a person who used to work in the software industry, chill. Like, chill, right? Again, someone's like, oh my God, you're always like such a Capcom shill, whatever. Like, and I told them, I was like, that is definitively not true. I am an every fighting game shill. I'm always trying to stick up for as many fighting games as I can. And what I played, I thought there was a lot of potential there, a lot of cool concepts, and I really like the idea of adding that KI combo system to the game. It's not going to be as egregious as KI, because KI was just like, here's a chance to break, here's a chance to break, here's a chance to break. Like, this game is designed in a way that, like, you know, from one end, they can easily burst the combo and the opponent can call that out. And then from the other side, the person doing the combo can easily extend the combo by tagging in, but you can call that out and stop the combo. Like, there's just a lot of, like, little interesting interplay, and that's never existed in these tag fighters. Most of the time, these tag fighters are just, you get hit, you watch, right? Like, even games with burst, most of the games with burst have been one-on-one, right? Is there Is there even a tag fighter that has a burst? TVC. TVC had burst, right? So there was definitely TVC. Again, I super love the way that bursts worked in MVCI, which was call the other guy in to save you, which let them call in their guy, and then you could have literally two guys fighting while the other two are finishing their combos at the top. Skullgirls does have it, but that's more of an infinite prevention system thing. But you are right, though. Skullgirls definitely, BB tag, yeah, that's right. BB tag counts as well, so. Yeah, but Skullgirls was more the infinite prevention system, right? If you knew how to create your combo properly, there was no point in which they could burst at all, right? It was just a way to prevent you from the game accidentally having infinites everywhere. I kind of feel like big IP fighters have lost the casual audience trying to balance around combo systems. I kind of rather see a modern take on short, easy, high damage combo systems while still flashy, of course. It's interesting because the thing about it is I get what combos are for, because combos are the only thing that you can truly practice yourself, obviously, right? An obvious way to practice yourself. And so, you know, people are always obsessed with those KOF trials and things like that, because that is the easiest way to play the fighting game without playing the fighting game, is learning how to do cool combos. And it makes people feel good when they can land the combo in an actual fight, right? The one thing that you can practice, train, and clearly see results. But if you're actually not well versed in fighting games, you won't know to practice mix-ups, setups, how to counter mix-ups, etc. And you can't practice mind games, right? That only works against people. And so combos are kind of essential to fighting games to give people who are not good at fighting games a sense that, you know, they're accomplishing something, that they're getting stronger, etc., etc. And it feels good when you land them in a match. Again, like I said, I don't like parries, but I understand why parries are so awesome and why they make Third Strike such a beloved fighting game. Right? Because it feels like, oh, that's so cool because you have this super high technical thing that lets you survive and blah, blah, blah. Even though, like, a lot of parries are accidental, let's be honest. And there's just a shit ton of option selecting going on. You know, it's like, but I get it. I get why it's so exciting. It's why Hayao and, of course, Daigo doing the Moment 37 are so crazy, because it's pitched as very difficult. And so when you see someone pull that off, all you need to see is someone going ping, 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 and you're like, oh my God, because you know it's difficult, right? And that's kind of the same thing as combos, right? The first highlight in Street Fighter V was Chris G doing Guile's Sonic Boom Loop on Blockbuster John on an online match, right? And then all these Monat combos kept going viral, right? Like, people like combos. Daigo doing the combo with Evil Ryu to Momochi was one of the most viral things that ever happened in Street Fighter 4, right? People like to see that kind of stuff. So as long as the combos are difficult, right? You know, because if everybody can do it, then it's not a point. But as long as the combos are difficult, they do help with the popularity of the game. So it's a very, very very difficult tightrope for developers to walk, to be honest with you. It's really hard to find that right balance, you know? And then, of course, we're all fighting in that whole thing of, like, should combos be hard to do, or should they be easier? And people are like, I hate having combos because they're, like, gatekeeping me from doing things. And then other people are like, easy combos kill individuality and all this stuff. And it's just like I said, it's kind of a nightmare for fighting game creators, to be honest with you. It is really hard to make a fighting game for this reason, which is why, like I said earlier when I was talking about Viper and Street Fighter 4, you know, sometimes it's just good to make characters satisfy those different aspects of fighting games, right? Just put in a character with ridiculous execution. I mean, Guile's loops, honestly, in Street Fighter 6 are actually, Like some of them are really hard to do. And so, it's cool to see that, right? Even Akuma's new optimized Tatsu path is very high execution. So like people like to see that kind of stuff. They like to see top players doing things that they can't do. That is definitely an aspect of watching competitive play. That's why you go, oh my God, when, Roger Federer used to rip one down the line and you're just like, holy crap, how does he do that, right? That is the appeal of watching high-level competition. You like seeing Stephen Curry make these ridiculously long shots, or Caitlin Clark shooting from the logo, and just making these threes is a very strong appeal for people to watch because you like watching people do things that are beyond what you think you can do. The hard part is that it's completely anti to the people trying to learn unless you pitch it properly. The problem with fighting games is that it is a video game and it's not presented as this is hard. And you still see, when the Invincible announcement came out on Twitter, a whole bunch of people were like, I'm so mad this is a fighting game because fighting games are boring. They're just button mashing. I would like something that actually has strategy and technique. And, as a fighting game player, you read that and you're just like, oh, right? So, like I've always said, the best thing that ever happened to StarCraft or to MOBAs is actions per minute, APM. Look at their APM. He has this APM. Look at that APM. And it changed the discourse of how those games are talked about. And we don't have that in fighting games. We have not been able to say, here's the thing that makes us cool, because sometimes the most amazing thing we did was not press a button, right? Literally, not falling for a shimmy is, amazing, right? And so if you take away all the crazy combos, we don't have that anymore. That was our easiest sell on the skill level of our... What are you doing, Nathan? Are you trying to get in on something? Okay. Ugh. Anyway, it was the easiest sell on that skill level aspect. And so, combos are actually really important to fighting games in a weird way. And not only that, but they also create the drama, the human tension, right? If all combos are easy and foregone conclusions, as soon as they land the first hit, it's not interesting anymore. It's like if somebody is open in a basketball game, if there's nobody in front of them, they're guaranteed to make the basket every time. What fun is that, right? And so if you have difficult combos, and the guy needs to land that difficult combo to win, does he have the mental fortitude to have that execution in a do-or-die situation? That's exciting. I like it when a person has the ability to drop a combo. I don't like it that, a lot of times with a lot of modern fighting games, you're just like, oh, if he doesn't drop this combo, he wins. It's a different conversation than, can he pull this off, right? That to me feels a little bit more like sports, right? That's what sports is. Can he do it? And so instead of seeing it as he will do this, the norm is he does this, and the unusual thing is the mistake. The norm is this is hard, and the unusual is that he accomplishes it, which is great, and it presents the situation very differently, right? So again, I think combos and execution are really important for fighting games. Again, that's just how I stand. I know a lot of people disagree on that, but people know that I love execution. But that's kind of explaining why I like that. It's why I enjoy that aspect of fighting games, because it requires execution, but it doesn't require you to be an athlete, right? It's the perfect merger between mind games and some sort of physical requirement. And I like that. Oh, did they say there was an open world Invincible game said to be in development? Yeah, they probably thought that that's what it was. It was super awesome that they got Kenny Omega for the trailer, but he might be really far behind. Anyways, so that's what I've got for the Invincible stuff. I kind of went on a tangent there. Again, very early. They're open to a lot of things. And I mean, like, a lot of us have been able to keep sending feedback to them and just being like, hey. And like I said, they had me mess with the game a little bit at Combo Breaker. I was able to see how it changed, and I was like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Oh, that's cool. You know, but you still haven't implemented this. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to try to put that in later. And it's still early. There's still so much more for this game to go through. So don't take anything that's ever been written in these articles right now and just treat it as gospel and automatically determine whether you're going to buy this game or not. Is still super early. Well, I mean, it's the roster, but like, who do we even know is in the game? Like, clearly there's going to be more characters added in, right? Like, I mean, I would just assume so. I would just assume they would add a lot more characters. So, you know, just be patient, see what comes in. Really? Wait, Invincible is in the same universe as Spawn? I actually had no idea. Oh, man. Dude, Ranger X, I do those are different shows. Come on, man. The other show just isn't what you wanted to know. The other show was literally about, like, us. Like, we are the main things about that show, and we talk about SNK games and stuff like that, so it's not for you. Don't watch it. I'm sorry that one wasn't for you. Doesn't make it ass, dude. Come on. Like, don't be like that, dude. Seriously. That's crazy that it's in the same universe. I had no idea. No idea. But yeah, well, yeah, because they were literally talking about their Japan trip that I was not on, where he proposed to her and had all these crazy stories to tell, and a lot of the people who have been watching the show for a long time care. So again, it wasn't for you. This is it. So, Jesus, like, learn that things are not always going to be catered for you individually, right? Like, different people are going to talk about different things, and sometimes it works for some people and it might not be for you. Doesn't make it bad. Doesn't make it bad. Oh, what? Why is it? Whoa, what happened to the camera? Why is the camera dead? Whoa, what happened? Anyways, so yeah, that's all I have to say about Invincible Versus. So, like I said, it's very early on. Still a long way to go. A lot of cool things to come for that game, I'm sure. And I'm sure, like, in a few months, it's probably going to be completely different than what I have played. So, can't wait to see how it goes. So, that's it for Invincible Versus here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, the day that this podcast graced your ears was Nathan. He's pushing my hand again. Was the most important. I fed you. Oh, this is Nathan's, like, I'm very grateful headbutts right here. I want to show it to you, but I don't know why my camera has frozen here. What if I do this and I go whoop, and then I come back to over here? It's gone. It's just not even in the list anymore. What the heck happened? What? Oh, come on. Okay. I don't know what happened to the camera. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you views of Nathan being cuddly and cute here, but I'm unable to do so. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. And the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.